So today the shloka that we're going to discuss is 2.46, which is a very interesting shloka in several ways. And so let's read it and then see what it means. Yava nartha udpane sarvatah samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. So it's a very interesting shloka, which is essentially telling us that we have to go beyond our scriptures. All the emphasis we pay on the Veda, the knowledge in the scripture, Sri Krishna is going beyond that. And it's one of the unique things about the Sanatan Dharma and Sanskriti, that it always tells you to go beyond every tool, every means, everything that helped you explore the truth. Then once you have discovered the truth, it tells you to go beyond the tools that you used. And no other dharma does it. And of course, Sanatana Dharma is not a religion, but no other pantha really does it. Definitely not the Abrahamic religions. So Yavan means as much, and the equivalent of Yavan is Tavan. So as much and that much. Basically, it's an analogy, and the Gita loves to use analogies. In this shloka, there is no verb. The verb is asti, or is, but it's implied. There is no external verb there, but we have to remember that Sanskrit, you may not use the verb. So the first pada is yavan artha udpane. Yavan is as much. Artha is meaning or purpose or reason for being. Udpane has several meanings, but some books say it's a well or a small body of water, like a pond. So as much meaning as there is in a pond. That's what Yavan Artha Udpane. Sarvatah. Sarvatah is an adverb. Sarvatah is everywhere, from all sides. Samplutodake. And you see the ud has come back. Udpane and samplutodake. It has come there. And samplutodake is when there is a flood, when there is water coming from all sides. So when there is water coming from all sides, when you're in a flood, what is the significance of a well? Because already the water has filled up. Everything is just pure water. The well or a little pond has no meaning. So Yavan Arth Udpane, as much meaning as there is of a well or a pond, when there is flood from all sides, Samplutodake. And Plut, if you remember, we have three sounds, the Risva, the Dirgha, and the Plut. Plut is when it's extended, long. So Samplut Udake. And Udak is again water. Udpane and then Udake. So when there is excess of water, Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu. That much significance is in Sarveshu, is in Vedeshu. is in the Veda. Eshu, if you remember, is plural Saptami Vibhakti. So inside the Veda, Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah. Brahmanasya, of the Brahman. Here the Brahman is not a caste or a one jati or varna. Here Brahmana means one who knows. In the Veda, the word Brahman is one who knows the mantra. So Sri Krishna is using Brahman, interestingly, in the sense that the Veda used it. Vijanataha, one who knows. So the Brahman who knows, to him there is as much significance in the Vedas as much there is of a pond in a massive flood where water is pouring from all sides. And it's very interesting how Sri Krishna is using the logic. Basically, he's moving Arjuna from the karma kanda of the Veda to an inner knowledge, self-knowing. And he's also telling gently Arjuna to listen to him, listen to Sri Krishna, because Sri Krishna is the one who knows. So go beyond the books, go beyond the external knowledge, that knowledge you think you have, on which you are trying to decide that you will not fight this battle. Go beyond that to the true knowledge. And obviously later he will tell him, who knows the true knowledge? It's Sri Krishna. So it's a preparation of creating the atmosphere for the eventual revelation. It's an amazing shloka which goes beyond itself. So we can use the same thing for the Gita. That as much importance is there of the Gita as of a pond in a flood. And that would be equally valid. So we have to catch the truth of the Veda, the truth of the Gita, which is our own inner knowing, and stay with that. Because once we find that, there is not the significance of Veda and the Gita is reduced. So if we look at the Anvaya, I think that's pretty, yes, once you are flooded with knowledge, all scriptures themselves drown. So Swamiji is saying that that's pretty well said. Padacheda is very simple. Yavan artha, that's the sandhi. So na with halant plus a becomes na. Sarvata samplutodake, there's nothing changed. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu. So there's not much significance of sandhi. And Sri Aurobindo's interpretation is beautiful. As much use as there is in a well with water in flood on every side, so much is there in all the Vedas for the Brahman who has the knowledge. So pretty clear, very precise understanding we are given. And one of the stories that is given is, if you cross a river using a little boat, you reach the other side, then you leave the boat at the shore, you move on. You don't carry the boat on your head because that boat helped you cross the river. So the same significance is used here. So if we want, we can listen to Swami Brahmanandji recite this in his own manner. If you want to take that, yeah. So again, if you listen to him, how he has stretched Yava Nartha Uda Pane. So he emphasizes, that's the beauty of Sanskrit. Each akshara has its own time, given its own importance, and we don't swallow the words. So he has beautifully brought that out. So does anyone want to do the part of this? This is a beautiful shloka that I think it's for all of us, it's important to remember. Yeah, let's listen to him again. This is beautiful, beautifully recited. Now you will notice that the visarga after sarvataha disappears in the sa. It takes the sound of hissing. So it becomes sarvata samplutodake. It doesn't stand apart. It merges into the sa. And that's the beauty of the visarga. It adapts itself to the sound coming after it and coming before it. So it transitions sarvatas samplutodake. It doesn't say sarvataha samplutodake. There's no break. Sanskrit flows. There's the water flowing. That's how the sound flows. So yavanartha udapane sarvatas samplutodake. When it comes at the end, then you give it its full weight, like vijanataha. So then it has a separate existence. Interestingly, a visarga is not, in some Sanskrit grammar books, it is considered as a separate vowel. And then some don't consider it as a separate vowel. It's somewhere between a vowel and a non-vowel, if we may use that word. It easily disappears in other sounds, or it can stand its own. And that's a very unique thing about the visarga. Visarga is also called visarjaniya. Sarga is to create. Visarga is to create outside. And there are two very beautiful sounds in Sanskrit. One is the anusvara. Anusvara is the m or n sound at the end of a word. Or here, the visarga. Visarga is more putting out, putting your air out, visarga. And na is a sound that is more in the nasal area, which closes the sound, which kind of makes it narrow. Visarga makes it spread out. Last time we had talked about the sounds e, u, and I hope you kind of tried to listen to it in your own inner space, the e, u. And if you like that, we can, extend that further and consider other sounds. Okay, so who wants to do the patha today? Okay, go ahead. Pankajji, your hand is there. Rajeshji, so let's do Pankaj first, and then Rajeshji can do it.
यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Just don't, the U is a little Vedeshu. So just remember that, although you can stretch it, but very well recited, Pankaj. So Rajeshji, go ahead. You do it.
Yeah. यावानर्थ उत्पाने सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदके तावांस सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः.
Yes. So just take your time. There's no need to rush. And let's do it again. Yavanartha udapane sarvatas. Yeah, go ahead.
यावानर्थ उत्पाने सर्वतः
Sarvatas.
सम्प्लुतोदके
Wonderful.
तावान्
Sarveshu
सर्वेषु
Vedeshu Brahmana. Go ahead.
तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः.
Wonderful. So the rasa of a perfect sound, and I think we've talked about it, rasa is the flavor, the taste of the essence. Everything in manifestation has a rasa, which we can derive even in time and space. And the rasa of kavya is equal to the rasa of the anand of Brahma itself. It's the sahodara of Brahma itself. In perfection brought in sound, dhvani can give you a sense of what Brahmanand itself is. That is the height to which we took it. And it is true. Look at the perfection of the shloka. And every shloka in the Gita is created in such a way that it's complete. There is no imperfection in the shloka. And any imperfection is called dosha. In our ancient Indian aesthetics, guna and dosha. Every work of kavya has a guna. Different gunas may be there, qualities, and dosha, flaws in the kavya. And those are very important. But one of the most important concepts that we have brought, because India was always more spiritual, closer to a deeper, subtler experience of thing, was the concept of rasa. The rasa is the flavor of anything you come to touch with, even through your senses. That is the essence, the anand of creation. You can touch it. So you can right now touch the anand of creation that happened when the shlok was created. And through that, you can actually go to the anand of the creation of the universe. So rasa comes from Bharat Muni's famous Natya Shastra, and that's when rasa is first mentioned. But even before that, in Taittiriya Upanishad, I believe, raso vaisaha. So that, the divine, is rasa. If you want to ask me a question, who is the divine? I don't know where the divine is. Tell me where he is. The Upanishad says, raso vaisaha. That is rasa. So to that importance has been given to rasa. Rasa is a point where the one who experiences and that which is being experienced become one. The duality is gone. There's a deep appreciation of that ananda of its creation. So if we can start touching that rasa, then we already start reaching a meditative state. The rasa of kavya reaches a height in the perfection, the ultimate expression of poetry, which is called the mantra. Mantra is that which frees your mind. So, manaha trayate iti mantra. That which frees the mind is the mantra. So, I think very wonderfully recited from both of you. And today we are moving fast, and hopefully if we start doing like that, we'll be going through these extremely important shlokas. Second chapter, after all the preparation, now Shri Krishna moves to very powerful shlokas. And each one of them has tremendous depth and tremendous meaning. If there are any questions, or if you want, we can then go back and do some more part, or if you have anything you want to talk about.
I think Rahul also said he wants to try the part.
Yeah.
Chalo, Rahulji, try it. Why not?
Okay. Yavanartha udpane sarvatas samplutodake tavanas sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah.
Right. So a couple of things. So suppose this the, udpane, the had a halant in it, under it. Halant means there is no vowel added to it. How would you pronounce it? Udpane, right?
Udpan. Okay.
Udpane. So the Vyanjana, the consonant has no independent existence beyond the vowel. Vowels are what? A, e, u, e, I, o, ri, or re, or r. These are the swaras, or the vowels. Now when we do ka, kha, ga, ga, n, they all have halant, which means you can pronounce them. You can say k, k, k. So to pronounce them, to make it easy, we add an sound to it. So it becomes a k, k. Without the vowel, you cannot pronounce the consonant. Consonant. Consonant is that which comes with another sound. Consonant. Vyanjana. So when you say udpane, that means the has a halant under it. Udpane. But if there is no halant under the, then it will become udpane. So when you read this, yavanartha udpane sarvatas samplutodake. So let your voice spend time with the Vyanjana, because that you have to show the listener that it is the halant with a. How would you show it? Udpane. You will give it its due time. So in Hindi, we have a habit of udpane. But original Hindi, even in original Hindi, you would say udpane. So yava, in Hindi we say Ram. In Sanskrit we say Rama. Krishna. Krishna. Right? So here we have to get that back, the Sanskrit habit of giving the sound its due. So you want to try that again? Let's do the first pada. Yava nartha udapane. Doesn't forget the music. You just give weight to every akshara.
Yavanartha udpane.
Udapane. Very good. Sarvatas samplutodake.
Sarvatas samplutodake.
Wonderful. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu.
Tavan sarveshu vedeshu.
Brahmanasya vijanatah.
Brahmanasya vijanatah.
Right. So the joy of it as we are into the sound. See, it's moving. If you remember the sounds of Sanskrit, every part starting from your larynx is used. So ka kha ga ghana, cha cha ja jha ya, ta tha da dhana, ta tha da dhana, and then pa pha ba bhama. See, it comes from the bottom to from the vocal cords to the lips. And then the last consonant involves the nasal cavity. The nose is involved. So this sound vibrates. Cha, cha, ja, jha, ya. Suddenly the nasal sound is added. So the understanding is it fixes it. Then when you bring this sound, the nasal sound, it fixes it. So see where, and then you have antastha. Antastha are semi-vowels. Ya, ra, la. These are the semi-vowels. And some people, ya, ra, la, and va. These are the semi-vowels. They're called antastha. So when you say the swara, you're not touching. A, o. You're not touching. There's no touch, no sparsha, sparsha. Right? So the vowels have no sparsha. A, u. It may come close, but there's no sparsha. But if you say ka, kha, kha, ga, ga, na, there's a sparsha. So these are sparsha and asparsha. Between them come the yara lava, which are called antastaha. They are just coming and touching. Yara, lava, la and va, they're just touching. Yara, they're not touching. So these are called antastaha. And then there are the aspirants, where the power comes sha, sha, sa, ha. So there is, I think they're called ushna, right? I think ushna, which they produce heat.
Yeah.
Sha, sha, sa, ha. Each sound has a significance. Each sound has a bhava. Each sound has its quality, and it gives you that psychological experience. So, and we will talk more about it later when we go deeper into the significance of the sound. Now, all kinds of sounds are used in it. Ya, va, that is the antastaha, the semi-vowels. Na, na is a consonant, right? Ta, tha, da, dha, na. Tha, tha is ta, tha. Then it moves to the vowel, o, the, ta, tha, da. Then it moves to the lip, pa, then goes back to na. So all the sounds are used, but there is a flow. You just don't randomly move from the pa to the ka. You don't randomly move. There's always a transition. And that's the genius, whether it's in sandhi, whether it's in the visarga, there is a flow. But a completion of all the sounds to the maximum capacity, maximum manifestation of the sound is brought out in the mantra, different kinds. And you will see that. To a completion, there's purnata. You cannot take out, if I take out one little sound out of it, I will make it incomplete. And that's how people who know the mantra, they will pick up. If someone is reading it with the slightest error, they will pick up. There's something is not right. So our music teacher used to tell us, if you want to annoy someone and you want to disturb someone, so just you take a piece of music, you play it and leave the last note. And then the person gets all disturbed. Like suppose you take Beethoven, da 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 da, da 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 da. That's the famous, right? Fifth Symphony. So if I go da 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 da, da da da, and then I stop. Now all your insides will turn. People who are sensitive can't sleep. They have to go back and play the last sound, and then it's complete. Then they can go back to sleep. So great teachers, people who are sensitive, if you just leave it before the last note, they have to go and complete it because something is left, something perfect from perfection is left out. And that is the genius of the mantra. Mantra gives you the complete experience, a fulfilling whole. It's a complete world in itself. Each shloka is a complete world in itself. And you can touch various aspects of it. You can experience it inside. And just like we did e, u, if you want to go back, we can again go back and do the other vowels today. But here you will see that. It's like a perfect work of art, as if you watched a sculpture being made of sound. So this is a complete work. So I don't have a watch today. You guys will have to help me if I start exceeding my time. But if you any questions, any thoughts, comments, feel free to.
Yeah, I think there is Rahul Jain
Yeah,
wants to recite.
Okay, go ahead.
He's been trying to raise his hand for a while.
Yeah, I
Rahul,
can't see the hand, so you'll have to help me there.
no, he was just typing messages. Rahul Jain.
Yes, sir. I'll go. यावानर्थ उदपाने सर्वतः संप्लुतोदके तावां सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्रह्माणस्य विजानतः.
Yeah, Brahmanasya Vijanata.
Brahmanasya.
Brahmanasya vijanatah. So,
Brahmanasya.
yes. Yavanartha udapane. Give the its due. So, Yavanartha udapane. Sarvatas samplutodake. And if you just recite it, giving each sound its due, it will take you to the music. Now, in Sanskrit, we have two kinds of chanda. One is the Varnik chanda, and the other is the Matrik chanda. Very briefly, matras, the duration, like is matra 1, a is to matra. So Matrik chanda tells you like doha, right? Keh kabir suno bhai sadhu. That's in Hindi. Or give me a doha from सुख में दुख में सुमिरन सभी करें, सुख में करे न कोय, जो दुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख काहे होए, right? Or काहे को होए. So the way it is counted is 11 matras in the first charana, first pada, and 13, 11, 13, 11, 13. But it doesn't tell you where, right? So total has to be 11, which gives you the ability to compress the long ones together in the beginning or later, or spread them out. You can make it fast in the beginning and then slow later. You can make it slow in the beginning and suddenly you compress all the sounds together, the long sounds together. Then there is the Varnik Chanda. Varnik Chanda tells you exactly the spot where the Varna will be. Like Trishtup. Trishtup will tell you, first Varna has to be short, boss. Second Varna has to be long. So Indra Vajra is one of the chandas in the Trishtup. So the third, sixth, seventh, and ninth are short. Everyone else is long. So it'll give you the precise location of the short and the long. You don't have any room. Now in the Anushtup, it only fixes the fifth, sixth, and seventh. So it's between the Varnik and the Matrik. Fifth, sixth, and seventh in the first pad is going upward, short, long, long. Second and fourth pad, short, long, short. So if you just follow the sound, Yava, Nartha, Udapane, even if you don't know the music, it will take you to that music. Sarvatas Samplutodake. It will bring you to that music. It will take your voice up. It will bring your voice down. It will take it, push it up, and then bring it down. Complete it. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah. There is an inherent sound to it. All you are doing is enhancing it. So if it's difficult, take your time and just pronounce it to yourself 5 times. Yava nartha udpane sarvatas samplutodake. Now when you do that, you will see there is something is missing. So then you'll say Yava nartha udpane. Now the sound is complete. And that sense you all have. We all have that sense of completeness. Sarvatas samplutodake. Now you can start picking up the music and now you can enhance the music. So that is the significance of Sanskrit, the music of Sanskrit poetry. Yeah, you want to spot it? So, okay, the first pada is Yava Nartha Udapane. So, U, Da, and Pa. Yava Nartha Udapane. Now you will say U is short, Da is short, Da is not long, and Pa is long. But in the part, the becomes longer because it is followed by 2 longs. And there's another rule which I didn't want to bother you about. If a short sound is followed by two longs, it becomes a long. So udapa. Similarly, if you go plu, so whenever there's a combined word, so think about duration. Why did he give duration to udapane? In the patha, the, even though it is a short, becomes a long. Udapane. Now, if you listen to Swami Brahmanandji, he really pays attention to that the. That is a master. Sarvatasam plu. Plu is long because there are two, it's a sanyukt akshar. Plu. To. Sorry. To is long. Lu is short. Because pa is not going to be counted. Pa is going to be counted with the sum. Sam, pa, lu, to is long and the is short. So lu, to, the. Short, long, short. If you go to Sarveshu Vedeshu, shu is short, ve is long, and de is long. Short, long, long. And then you come to Vijanataha. Vi is short, ja is long, na is short. So first and third pada, short, long, long. Second and fourth pada, short, long, short. So the sound goes like, takes you up, and then it carries that momentum, but it closes it, brings it down, giving you the freedom with the rest of the varnas, 1 to 4 and the last one. It gives the freedom. And that is the genius of the chanda. Chanda means that which gives you joy. The root is chada, and chada is that which gives you joy. I hope I answered. I don't want to make it too complicated for those who don't have much taste for poetry, but just getting a good sense out of it. And you will find that across the board. And Anushtup, by the way, is the most common shloka in our ancient texts because it gives you a lot of freedom. So the poet had a lot of freedom with it. And in the Ramayana is the Anushtup. In the Mahabharata, Anushtup is the most important shlokas. That's why it's also called the Shloka meter or the Shloka chanda. Shlokas are mostly written in Anushtup. All right, I don't know what the time is, so Swamiji, you'll have to keep me honest here.
Dr. B. Gaurav has a question.
Yes, sir.
At the end of Vedeshu, should we extend the U sound or not?
No, shu is short. Vedeshu. Shu, Vedeshu. It is short. So Patha has its own niyama and it can get pretty complicated. But Tavan, Sarveshu, and then there's a break. And then there is Vedeshu. So it is not immediately followed by a long, by too long. So the shu stays short. And if you listen to Brahmanandji, he does it the same way. Tavan sarveshu vedeshu. And that's the genius of Sanskrit. The genius of Sanskrit is the sound is exactly the way it is written, and it has to be written the way exactly it sounds. The swara will not, will remain a. I will remain I. U will remain U. Unlike in English, a cannot become a, a does not become a as in father or a as in cat, right? So the sound does not keep changing. The swara remains the same. If you want to make another sound, then you have to find another vowel for it. So very briefly, we talked about the three sounds, a, I, U. So if you experience it, is coming from the vocal cords, a, ah. So is just a more powerful manifestation of it's totally open. So brings you to a state of settlement. Everything is settled. Everything is settled. Brings you back to yourself. That is where Om comes from. And it's an experience. I sound comes a little higher. I is coming higher, and that energy has become narrowed. It, that energy has become narrowed. So it's a narrowing of energy. It, and Ichha Shakti. That it sound is what begins to move towards Ichha Shakti. When you have the desire, the will to create something, that becomes it. And so in Sanskrit, the words carry that original sound. It. And then O. O is you're sending it out with force. O. Ooh. So it is right above Murdhanya, right above the palate, and ooh. U, A, E, ooh. And so you see how the sounds are coming from different places and have a different psychological significance. Ri is the sound of vibration, like Rishi, Ri. Ri is the sound of vibration. Arka, Rigveda. Ri is a beautiful sound where that vibration is caught. And if it takes us to the sound of the universe, rhythm. In English, if we listen to the word rhythm, right, R-I-G-H-T, right, all those are that original rhythm. They're still carrying that ancient Vedic significance. When we say rectitude, straight, rectus muscle, those who are doctors who will understand. Ra, that is carrying. So rhythm, rishi, that ri sound. Now, we don't use the long ri. And some people say ru, but South India, I think it's more ru, and North is ri. They'll say rushi. North India will say rishi. And that's, I was brought up with the ri. But if you want to say rushi, I'm okay with it. And the long ri is re, longer. And then there is a r, which is not very commonly used. But that's a sound that is there in Sanskrit. So I, U. Now we go to the Sanyukta swara. When and A come together, what happens? A. So and A. A carries the quality of and A. A. Unlimited, open, the beginning. Nothing is limited. You're totally open. I, you narrow it. So now you say A. A has the quality of that openness, and which is becoming narrow. A. I is even more intense. So when we say ekam, a and a, those qualities come together and give you that sound of A, which is the unity. Ekam. I, those who have done the mantra Aim, Aim, and like Om, Om is an invocation of Brahman. Om, because is open. U is you're pushing it out. It's the inside and the outside. Om. So is inside, everything is open, no limits. And that's the divine within, the Brahman within, and then you Brahman outside. Om. So you can experience that sound. Ma is completion, fulfillment. Ma, matra, maya, the measure. Ma is the completion, fulfillment. So, A become I. A, I. A is the unity of and A, and then I. So I, that's why represents the Mahashakti. Aim. If you do the tantric meditation, Aim. You just meditate, just like Om is on Brahman, Aim, because you have brought in the E sound. Similarly, O is the unity of the energy of A and O. O. And O is even more intensification of that. That is why we say Om. All the intensity inside, you're bringing it out in the universe outside. Om. That the divine within, all that open, that which is unlimited, you're bringing it out with all your power. Om. So that is when we go to these sounds, the root sounds, you start picking up. And suddenly, if you start understanding, see, in English, a word has a meaning. I say cat has a meaning. If I just say cat to you, I don't know, you will say, you won't know what I'm saying. If I say bat, you understand. If I say bat, you won't understand. But in Sanskrit, every sound has a meaning, has a significance. Meaning not in the literary sense, but in a deep psychological sense. And that is called the guna. And so if you read Sri Aurobindo's famous essay, Swamiji, please help me, the Aryan...
The origins of Aryan speech.
Thank
I
you,
just
sir.
wanted to come in for
Yes.
just 1 second, if you don't
Yes.
mind. You know, there are two things I was reflecting on when you were explaining the meaning of this verse. And the first thing is the verse that comes immediately after, which is possibly the most famous verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which is Karmanne Vadikaraste Ma Phaleshu Kadachana. I mean, in current times, at least, that's the most famous verse. So what is the connection between this verse and the one that follows? That was one reflection I had, maybe for next class. But the other reflection was that there are two sort of contrary meanings of this verse. The more common meaning is that if there is a flood, what is the use of a small body of water like a reservoir? Similarly, for the knower of Brahman, what is the use of the Vedas? So this is the sort of standard meaning. But Ramanuja has a different meaning. What he's saying is that if there is a flood, of what use is the flood for limited purposes which we have for everyday life, like irrigation or drinking water or bathing? In a flood, everything, will be blown away. So he says that take from the Vedas only that which is required for self-knowledge and liberation. So I think this is a very interesting way to understand the connection between the so-called limited, what should I say, like a funnel, that which is bounded, which is useful for us, and that which is unbounded, limitless, which we can't, in fact, even access at times. So these are just two thoughts I had, but I think your exposition of these sound qualities, both the guna, doshas you haven't talked about, but the gunas are very profound. I think especially Om and Aim, Brahman and Kali, or Brahman and Shakti. That was superb, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
So thank you, Makaranji. It's beautiful to hear you and add that comment. And I hope each of you will feel free to add his or her comments. So I hope someday you will start the session and I will put in my 2 cents. So, and that's the whole point, because each of us should bring out that inner wisdom, inner knowing that we all have. And that is the meaning. The meaning is not to just have one person speak. You all have that inner knowledge. But as you experience it, these are things, as you experience it, then it becomes your experience. And in your personality, your nama rupa, that knowledge will express itself in a different, you will assimilate it differently. And then you can present your perspectives, your way you have experienced it. And then we can go to the other mantras. Now you can understand the other mantras that we have in Tantra. Reem, Kleem, each has its significance. Each has its energy. Each has its deva. Each sound has its deva. Each sound has its Shakti. Now, if we understand it, imagine how beautiful our language becomes. So I think if we start, and someone a few weeks ago said, how can we learn Sanskrit faster? I don't know the answer to the question. I only know one thing. If you can start enjoying it yourself directly without a person in the middle, then it is yours. Then what expertise you have, panditya you have, will happen. So the whole point is to enjoy the Gita in all its flavors. And I've used the word Gitanga, just like we have Vedanga, we have used the word Gitanga. Same things, same ways to study the Vedas. We have taken 4 of them. So we have taken Shiksha, which is how to pronounce it, how to enunciate it. And if you go to the Veda, it will become even more detailed, all much deeper, much intenser. We have done Chanda, which is the different. Chanda is not just the meter. Chanda is much more than that. It's the joy of the kavya, joy of the poetry. And then we have Nirukta, Nirukta, each sound, what we are doing is each sound, the significance, the etymology. Nirukta is how were these words made from these original sounds? So like I said, Ichha Shakti, A is a concentration. From that comes Ichha Shakti. A becomes Ekam. A and A become one, and one energy becomes Ekam. So different sounds have different words, like rhythm. Rhythm is a very important word in the Veda. The significance of rhythm is as much in the Veda as the significance of dharma in the Gita. So see how important it is. Very important word. So once we understand these sounds, and then the final is the Vyakarana, which I'm trying to keep away from everyone. We just got introduced to the 7 vibhaktis, and we just got introduced to the lat lakara, and now we'll just let it percolate, because those sounds will come to you. And the other variations of those 2 essential paradigms, as they are called, will be different plays, whether it's ikaranta, whether it's ukaranta, all different kinds of vibhaktis. It is the variation of the same. And Panini has one simple pattern which he uses for everything. What did Samirji say? All pools are inside the ocean, which is the ocean itself. Did I say that right? You disappeared.
I just
Rajesh,
corrected it.
Rajesh had a question earlier.
What's that?
When you talked about mantra and manifestation, can we manifest like what we want by training our mind using mantras?
Yes, that is the whole point. The Rishi is doing what? The Rishi catches a certain vibration, that dhvani, and they call it parame vyoma, the ultimate sky. The Rishi consciousness reaches a point, the ultimate sky, parama vyoma, catches a vibration. This is before words, catches the vibration. And in our tantra, it's called paravaka, that which is beyond word, paravaka. And he brings that vibration into words. He's manifesting that vibration into words. And essentially, he's leaving his consciousness of sound for us. He's leaving his body for us. In Tantra, this is called the Purusha. Just like you have the body, you have a body of sound. So it's called the Mantra Purusha. You have a body of energy, body of sound. Once we realize that we have the body of that sound, then we start understanding what the Rishi is doing. That body of sound, the energy field of that great Rishi, is leaving us in that mantra. He's alive. When you touch that, you're touching the energy field, the mantra purusha of that rishi, you're directly touching. That is the beauty of it. And it's one of the most beautiful experiences. When you read Sri Aurobindo in some of his lines that are so beautiful. Every time you read, they're so beautiful. Or even his prose, they're so beautiful. Or Sri Krishna, you're reading. This is verse inspired by Sri Krishna's consciousness. You can touch Sri Krishna's consciousness. If you approach it with that bhava, you're touching Sri Krishna. So it is the mantra purusha. It is the sound body of his consciousness. We are touching the consciousness of Sri Krishna in his body of sound. So just like we are feeling these, you'll remember as you start feeling these sounds, you suddenly realize you've left this body of external nama rupa and you've gone into a different world where energy approaches differently in sound. So if you want to manifest something, you have to find that root sound, and that is the power of creation. You can create that if you have that mastery. That is the meaning of mantra, by the way.
And I think one last maybe we can address. Rahul is saying, does this shlok also hint at practice being more important than gyan? From one of the mother's quotes that came to mind, something like, one drop of practice is better than an ocean of knowledge.
Yes, intellectual. And when we say that knowledge is just intellectual knowledge, theoretical knowledge, we can have all the theoretical knowledge in the world, but once you experience it, then it's totally different. Then it has become inseparable from you because it is you. Just like this e, u, I can give you all kinds of theories about e, u. Now you experience it. Now it's real to you. It's not just theory. Oh, Sanskrit is the most scientific language. Why? How? Now you have experienced. You've just begun tasting the sound yourself. Now it has become something totally different, which no other language has. So that one drop, and in Ayurveda, it's a famous saying, 1 ounce of practice is more than the universe of knowledge. So the mother has beautifully explained it as a 1 drop of practice is equal to the ocean of intellectual knowledge, theoretical knowledge. So I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly
Very
right.
good. Thank you. Namaskar.
All right.
Nam.
Namaste all.